Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. We're diving right into the absolute mechanics of modern horror today. We're going to be unpacking two truly terrifying narratives, Echoes from the Blue Glow and The Whispering Well. And what we're looking at is essentially a masterclass in how to blend digital dread, that very real, very relatable anxiety you get when your screen lights up in the middle of the night, with classic, inescapable supernatural terror. We're going to explore exactly how these sources build tension, layer by agonizing layer, until you are completely trapped in the story. Right off the bat, listen to this line from the text. When Ian asked why, the villagers exchanged frightened glances. It instantly establishes this heavy foundation of ancient, unspoken lore. Before we even see a monster or a threat, this single sentence completely hooks us. It tells us there's a secret, right? A collective trauma that the locals absolutely refuse to speak about. The horror hasn't even fully started yet, but that frightened silence effectively preconditions us for the absolute nightmare that's about to unfold. To guide us through this, we've put together a sort of map of the nightmare. We'll trace Allie's descent into terror chronologically. We'll start with the digital catalyst, move out to the Whispering Well, step inside the abandoned hut, look into the cracked mirror, uncover the mark of the curse, and finally try to survive the final cliffhanger. So let's kick things off with part 1, the digital catalyst. Picture this. It's 2:13 in the morning. Ollie is sitting in his messy, shadowy bedroom, and the only illumination is that harsh, cold blue glow coming from his smartphone. A notification pops up. Hamza. Voice message. Now think about how vulnerable you feel checking your phone in a pitch-black room at 2 in the morning. Your focus is entirely on that tiny screen, giving you this severe tunnel vision. We've all been there, right? Though usually without the impending supernatural doom. By 2:14 a.m., the silence in his room becomes totally oppressive. Ollie is whispering in fear and confusion. And by 2:15, subtle shadow distortions begin to warp the room around him. The terror is literally bleeding out from his digital screen right into his physical space. That brings us out of the bedroom and into the forest for part 2, the Whispering Well. The scene shifts outside to an empty edge. Ollie approaches a stone well. A pale hand climbs over the edge, and then, bam, it suddenly disappears. And then, complete silence falls. The wind completely stops. You know that heavy, deafening silence when even the insects just stop making noise? Ollie points his flashlight down into the darkness. The inside of the well is totally empty, but something is breathing just behind him. He slowly turns around. Nothing. That is, until he notices fresh, wet footprints leading away from the well and deep into the forest. Allie starts following those wet footprints through the dead trees, and every few steps, he hears someone whisper his name. Ollie. And here is the truly sinister part. The voice sounds exactly like his late father. It is quite literally weaponized grief. The entity isn't just hunting him physically, it's tearing him apart psychologically. It's using the comforting voice of his dead father to lure him in. Allie knows it can't be real. His heart is pounding out of his chest, yet that impossible voice just grows clearer. Come home. Ollie's pursuit leads to our third escalation point, the abandoned hut. The wet footprints he's tracking stop dead outside an old, rotting wooden hut that's perfectly hidden between the dead trees. And then the door just creaks open by itself. This is an absolute masterstroke in horror pacing. That autonomous movement of the door, it's not just a cheap, spooky effect. It is a loud and clear signal to Ollie and to us as the audience that he is no longer the one doing the pursuing. He's expected. He is now playing entirely by the entity's rules. He steps inside, and the walls are absolutely covered with faded photographs. Every single picture shows different people standing beside that whispering well. But if we break this down, you'll see they all share one distinguishing, horrifying feature. Their eyes are completely black. But the real gut punch? Allie finds the newest photograph on the wall. It shows him, standing beside the well, and it was taken only minutes ago. That completely destroys any shred of hope that Allie is alone out there. It cements his place in this cursed cycle. Which leads to arguably the most psychologically terrifying moment of the narrative. Part 4, the cracked mirror. At the end of the hut stands an old, cracked mirror. Look at the visual impossibility here. In Allie's reality, he is staring into the glass, frozen in fear. He's definitely not smiling. Suddenly, a cold breath touches the bare skin on the back of his neck. But in the reflection, his reflection smiles back at him. It slowly raises a single finger, pointing directly into the dark space behind him.
It's a moment of sheer, paralyzing dread, where the literal laws of physics break down and your own reflection betrays you.
The trap has officially been sprung. Let's look at part 5, the mark of the curse. A raspy voice echoes through the rotting wood of the hut, revealing the whisper's true name and its mechanics. You heard the whisper. Now you belong to the well. It is so clinical, so methodical. It just violently strips away any illusion of agency Allie thought he still had. Immediately after that, the physical world erupts. The floor of the hut begins to shake violently. Thick, black water seeps up through the wooden boards. And then, long, pale fingers, the exact same ones from the well, burst through the floorboards, aggressively grabbing at Allie's ankles. He screams, thrashing wildly, and barely manages to drag himself outside, collapsing back near the well. And as the adrenaline starts to fade, he looks down at his arm. A strange, black symbol has appeared on his skin. It's warm. It pulses like an actual heartbeat, and a whisper echoes inside his head. 3 nights remain. And that brings us to the story's masterful, highly ambiguous conclusion. Part 6. The final cliffhanger. Defeated, exhausted, and marked, Allie looks back at the stone well one last time. Down in the darkness, someone is standing inside it. They aren't trying to climb out. They are just standing there, in the black water, watching him. The figure slowly, deliberately raises its head into the moonlight. It has Allie's face, but just like the mirror, it wears an impossibly wide, unnatural smile. Which leaves us with this incredible, chilling question that totally recontextualizes the entire story. If the smiling reflection, the corrupted doppelganger of Ollie, is the one standing down inside the well, who or what is currently walking away in Ollie's body? It is a brilliant inversion that leaves you questioning every single thing you just witnessed. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and, maybe keep the lights on tonight.